Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So, in this episode, I am restoring a Moto Guzzi tank. This tank was off a rat bike, and as you can see there, it's pretty rusted. And these are the side covers, and they've got a fair few cracks in them, you can see, so they're gonna need some repairs. So, the tank is going to go, it used to be black with 2 red stripes, so we're gonna go black, and then we're gonna do 2 gold stripes, which is what the customer wants, with the silver pin stripe on the edge of one of the gold stripes. And our side covers will be the same. And then the Moto Guzzi badges are actually going to get blasted as well, and then I'll hand paint those. So let's get into it, guys. Let's get this thing looking schmick, repaired and restored for the customer. And yeah, let's go. Rightio, I've got most of the rust is coming off okay, so I've treated this with a rust remover and it's soaking in here so you can see the shiny wet spots. So that's doing its job at the time while we're chatting. And what's going to happen, once that's done, going to clean it off with warm water, and then I'm just going to keep sanding. There's going to be some tougher spots here, so I'm going to probably have to attack them with the grinder using this disc. To get all these hard to get spots, the thicker stuff, and then the 80 grits taking off all that surface rust. So let's keep going. I've got all the paint off the tank now and back to bare metal. Just wanted to give you an example of why it's impossible to quote on a restoration job, and this is exactly why. This tank looked absolutely sweet. No holes, nothing. I'll just turn this camera around and show you what's underneath the surface rust. All looks good, but if I come in close, you'll see these tiny little pitting marks. So they were the rust spots. Now up here, if I zoom right in, you can see the pitting. So that means on the inside of the tank, it's going to be rusted out worse than it was on the outside. But if you come along, it just gets worse, and now we've got a hole. So now this is all going to have to either be cut out or lead wiped, and then tank lined, and you can see they're starting to come through here as well, and there's another hole. So this is why you can't quote on restoration jobs, because until you get it to this stage, you just don't know what's going to happen. So started on the side covers. So this is one. The other one had big cracks in the paint, so turns out we've got cracks in the fiberglass. So I've now got to sand this back till it's all white, and I'll dig them out and get them refilled and repaired and primed and then painted. So let's get onto these and try and get these things looking 100%. I'm in the process of welding up the pinholes in the bottom of the tank. So you can see they're all All welded up. So now I've got to go through with a pick hammer, and I'm just going to tap and listen and see if I can find any more weak spots in the metal. And then if I do, I'm going to sort of just put a weld over the top there to thicken that up and strengthen it a little bit. But she's all welded up now, so I can put the tank liner kit next and then sand and prime. So I'm not hitting this too hard, but I'm just basically trying to find the weak spots and hear the sound change. And I'll definitely know if there's a really weak spot, it's going to leave a slight indentation. So even just here is a little bit weak, but not weak enough for me to weld it. So this node here means it's thicker, and this light node here means it's thinner. So thinner, thicker. So that's what there's a bit, probably a little bit thin. But if I hit it a bit harder and I don't leave an indentation, then it's thick enough. Alright, it is tank liner time. So I've got to do a clean, and then I've got to get the rust out of it first, obviously, and then I wash it, and then I'll put the liner through, and then it's time to start priming this thing and getting this tank all ready to be painted. So let's get this tank liner kit in. Alright guys, so tank sealer is in, and you can see in there, if I can get it on the right light, it's nice and clean. You can see the silver down the bottom there. That means I've got it all covered. So I sit it in this position for half an hour, and then I've turned it on its side, and then repeat the process on every corner of the tank to make sure it's in there. And then once it's dry, I get my inspection camera down in there, make sure I haven't missed anything. But I'm pretty sure she's all good, and it is time to now let this sit, and then I'll come back, and then we're going to start sanding the outside and getting it all prepared to be primed and repair a couple of little dents, and then carry on. Alrighty, so first base coats are down, so 4 coats of black, and now I'm sanding it down with some Scotch-Brite, getting it ready to mask up to do my gold stripes and so on. So let's start sanding. So I mentioned in the beginning that I was going to blast these badges, but because these badges are so old, I thought I'd take the safer route by paint stripping them because it's less harsh on the plastic. Alright, so the second coat of clear is down. Got a couple more coats of clear to go, but that's straight off the gun. It's coming up smick, so 2 more coats left and we should be good to go and move on to the side covers. Alright guys, so the side covers are coming up alright. I haven't had any issues now. I've managed to get them back to a decent place in regards to taking the top layer off. So this has got 2 coats of black on it now. I've got to do 2 more and then we'll let it sit and hopefully everything will be okay, and then I can put the gold stripes on it. So we've got them sorted, and now the next thing is the badges. So as you saw, I took the badges back to bare metal, which was gold. And the customer wants me to try and repaint them, so it's a bit of a nightmare of a job because it's so fiddly. But so what I've done is thinned out my paint, and what I'm doing is basically just trying to get the paint to flow nicely inside the lettering, and then if I get any on the raised areas, then I have to go through and wipe that down. But it's working okay. It's not great, but what I'm going to do is just get it done, and I won't fit them to the tank until the customer arrives to see if he's happy with it. To be honest, it's definitely not up to my standard, but we'll see how we go after I do a few coats and if I can get these things to come up looking smack. So I'll keep plodding along and yeah, see if we can bring these things back to life. Sit now for a bit, and what I can do is come back through and sand the top of these raised lettering to take off any excess paint that's sort of spilt over on this top edge here. Alright, so there's one done, and then I'll have to come through and do the white once the black's dry, and I'm also going to have to do a few more coats of black to thicken that up. But we'll let it sit for about half an hour, and then we'll come back and do a couple more coats, and yeah, fingers crossed he's happy with it. If he's not, again, I just won't charge for it because I'm not really happy with it, but it's the best we can do with what we got. Alright guys, we're all done. So So a couple little bits of dust in there on the 4 flow coats that I've put on there, so I'm going to have to cut and buff that, which is pretty normal anyway to get a good gloss at the finish. Badges came up pretty good, probably not perfect by any means, so personally I would just replace them for new ones, but if the customer's happy, I'm happy. Side covers come up well, managed to fix them as best as I could. There's a couple of little imperfections just here, so I'll have to cut and buff that as well, where the clear is sort of a little bit high in that one spot. But apart from that, she's come up smick. I've saved the side cover, so I'm stoked with that, and I've managed to get these badges looking pretty good. So this one's been sanded. I've sanded the top off this one, but this one's not quite dry, so I've got to sand the top off that to bring it up like this one. But we're good. All done. This one was a mission. Had multiple issues with the holes in the bottom of the tank and needing to put a tank liner in it at the last minute, obviously, and needing to cut the bottom of the tank out and repair that. So a few extra things that we didn't expect, but managed to win and beat it. So I'm pretty stoked. She's come up awesome. The tank is complete. The customer now has his tank back and it's all fitted on the bike. Thanks to everyone for watching. And don't forget, if you haven't already, subscribe, because the more subscribers we have, the more of these videos we can do. Thanks to everyone that has already liked and subscribed. It really means the world to us. Don't forget to check out all our future videos, because we've got some really good ones coming up soon. And sorry it's taken so long to get this video up. There's been a bit going on, but we're back, and we've got some good videos about to come out, as well as a Suzuki GS400 bobber build, along with the AJS and more. So again, thanks to everyone for watching. Until next time, take care guys, all the best.